Hey, buenos dias, ¿qué pasó, amigos? Welcome back to the channel, John's Moto Garage. Today we're going to bring you an update on Jackie. Did she make it home? Is she okay? Is the baby all right? We're going to go into all that and more. Stay tuned to the very end. We'll do kind of a Q&A. You can hear some crazy stuff that went on behind the scenes and find out, I don't know, kind of pick at Jackie's brain a little bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. John's Moto Garage. Thanks for tuning in.
Yikes.
Alright, so first and foremost, let me give you a quick update on Jackie. If any of you weren't already aware, we had a baby a couple days ago. It's actually a week from today, so the baby's officially a week old. And the delivery went pretty well. Jackie's epidural didn't work, but aside from that, the delivery went pretty well. Jackie just went beast mode and said, screw it, I'm gonna do it without the epidural after it didn't work. But the delivery went great. Whoa, look at that. But there were complications after the delivery that landed Jackie in the ICU that first night. Basically, the long and the short of it is she had what's called an inverted uterus, and it caused a lot of bleeding. It can be life-threatening, and in this case, they weren't able to stop the bleeding and get the uterus back in place without taking Jackie back to the OR. So they had to take her back. They had to put her under sedation, intubated her with the breathing tube and everything. And she lost a lot of blood. They had to, well, she lost a good amount of blood. They had to give her 2 units of PRBCs, platelets, FFPs. There was a good hour there where I honestly thought that I was going to lose Jackie. And after talking to the doctor the next day, he confirmed that it was life-threatening. It was something where they had to act fast because of the severity of what was going on. So I'm extremely grateful that Jackie's back with us, that she's okay. I feel like I've had a second chance, and it has definitely impacted me. And yeah, I'm so grateful that she's here with us today. And my heart goes out to anybody who's had to deal with something like this, especially in the situation where the outcome hasn't been favorable. It really does. Just being that close to losing her, it really changes things. It definitely does. And it sounds cliche, but moving forward, I have such a greater appreciation, and I value so much more just that we're, you know, what we have. It's the most important thing. So anyway, after a night in the ICU and another unit of blood the next day, she was stable enough to get transferred out of the ICU. And I think I'm going to leave it at that as far as for what happened with her, but it was very scary. I will note that Jackie was a high-risk pregnancy just because she has had C-sections before, so I don't want to scare anybody out there. This is not something normal. The doctor said he had only seen it one other time in all his years practicing, and even with nurses there who had 20 to 30 years experience, it was something that they had either seen maybe once or had never seen before. So it's not a super common thing to happen. And I'd be remiss if I did not thank the hospital staff, the doctors, the nurses, the techs, everybody there who was on point, who acted fast and literally saved Jackie's life. Because without the sacrifice that they made to go to school, to get the training they have, to work in a field that is emotionally taxing and draining and physically demanding and just challenging, without everything that they do, that sacrifice, the outcome would not have been the same. So big shout out and thank you again to all those people.
And I think that's going to do it. We'll do a quick Q&A and then we'll close out. And again, huge shout out and thank you to everybody who sent well wishes on the channel. It really does mean a lot. We'll finish off with the QA. Jackie, when can we expect to see you back on 2 wheels trying out new motorcycles?
Probably not for a little while, but hopefully soon.
Awesome. I know everybody's dying to know, of all the stupid stunts I've tried pulling off, which one has been the coolest in your eyes?
The coolest stunt?
Mm-hmm.
You can edit all this out, right? I don't know if there's a coolest stunt. They've all been kind of freaky. They all just worry me, I guess.
Angle that's already pushing me down, you know what I mean?
Right. No one's ever usually used to jumping off of roofs. Yikes.
All right, out of all the motorcycles that have come through the garage, which one's your favorite?
Well, my favorite motorcycle that we've had, we didn't even have while you were doing the channel, it was a Triumph, and that was like 6 or 5 years ago that we had that. That was my favorite. Just really like the style of it, which I guess that's the most important thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Style's everything. It was a Triumph Bonneville Cafe Racer setup. It was a really rad motorcycle. What did you name the little baby and why?
So we named this little guy August, and that was my great-great-grandfather's name. And I gave John free reign over the middle name since I took over the first name. And he picked Ryder, which I wasn't sure of at first, but it works and I like it.
Ryder wasn't really on our name list, but in the hospital it just kind of came to me. Here's one that you guys might think is funny. So because her epidural didn't work, what did you use as an alternative to epidural to get through the pain?
Oh my goodness. I was squeezing John's hand as hard as I could. Not only that, but yeah, he's got some scratches on his hand.
I've got a scar. And then she also, this might be inappropriate if you have kids around, you could cover their ears. She tried giving me a nibble twister. And she got a hold once, and it was like the worst thing ever. And as I'm sitting there, like wanting to like yell out in pain, I'm like, dude, your wife's going through labor here, bro. Like, that's not going to be appropriate. So after she went through that contraction and released my nipple twister, next time she went for it, I totally dodged out of the way.
I think I was able to get a few more in though.
Yeah, oh, that was the worst. That's got to be worse than labor.
Yeah.
You think?
The hand just wasn't cutting it out. I needed something substantial to grab onto.
Oh, here's one that you guys may be wondering. Are we going to have any more kids or do we plan to?
No, I don't see any more kids. After going through that, it was too scary for me, too traumatic, and I don't want to risk anything happening. I want to be around for these kids and for John.
Yeah, that was one of the things for me. This, I was pretty sure it was going to be the last, but Jackie in her mind still had thoughts about, you know, maybe try for another girl, because we have a lot of boys and just one little girl. But after this, it was almost a confirmation, you know, we're good, we're lucky to be here, let's cherish what we have. And so it's kind of like we're able to close the chapter, close the book on that chapter in our life, something like that. You guys get what we're saying. So no more kids. Jackie might adopt a girl someday in the future, but nothing here soon. Any other questions?
Are you okay, John?
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, so here's another funny one. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know I'm known to do stupid stuff. I'll jump off roofs, try doing wheelies on 800-pound Harleys, and so I'm not like the smartest dude when it comes to risk aversion, if you will. Well, while Jackie was sitting there after she delivered the baby, as I saw the change in the demeanor of the doctor, I noticed that things were getting serious. I remember he said, we're going to have to take her back and fix her uterus, which I knew meant she's bleeding a lot, we got to get her out of here to the OR. And I was so worried about Jackie at that point and so fearful for what was going to happen that I had like an internal anxiety attack, and I felt super lightheaded. And I remember sitting down and saying, I think I'm going to pass out. And next thing I know, I'm laying on the chair and nurses are hovering over me saying, just stay put, sit still. Do you know where you are? Are you okay? And initially I'm totally disoriented, but long story short, I freaking passed out. So Jackie's sitting here, just delivered a baby. She's in like real dire need for medical attention. Meanwhile, I'm passed out, diverting all their attention to me while Jackie's sitting here. It was I felt like such an idiot. But obviously, as soon as I came back to, I'm like, holy crap, okay, hold on a second. Jackie, are you okay? They're like, Jackie's fine. And then shortly after, they rush her off to OR. So, yeah, that was crazy. I passed out after the delivery. And nothing to do with the blood and stuff. I've seen plenty of blood and guts and all that craziness, but that's a sign of true love. If you pass out, knowing that your wife is going to be in danger, I think that's a sign of true love. So that's what I think that's what it was.
I would say so, yeah.
I can just imagine the doctor like, another one of these turds. What is this guy doing here? You know, as I'm laying there, and Jackie's sister and friend who was doing photography, they said I was like like having like convulsions, like super like stiff.
Yeah.
And so I was having a seizure. So I'm glad I was passed out for that part. Otherwise, I would have been freaking out.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do it. John's Moto Garage, Jackie's Moto Garage, and new baby Ryder's Moto Garage, August Ryder. Thanks a bunch for all the support. Like and subscribe if you dig it. You can hit us on Instagram at John's Moto Garage, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Adios. Hasta luego.